Breaking right now at 4 o'clock, the search is on for a convicted murderer who escaped from a Chester County prison. Hundreds of officers are working right now to find 34-year-old Danelo Cavalcante. He was last seen this morning on Overstand Road in Pocopson Township, putting communities in that area on high alert.
Hey guys, welcome to Lovelxce Astrology. Today we look at the infamous criminal terrorizing Chester County, Pennsylvania, Danelo Cavalcante, the escaped prisoner. He escaped from Chester County Prison on August 31st. We'll be using an article from CBS News for reference. At the time of this reading, he is still at large, whereabouts somewhat known, and said to be extremely dangerous. CBS News reports, Cavalcante's escape came about a week after he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. So, what do the stars have to say? They were illuminating in our reading on Yusuf Qatar, who is also still at large. This reading is for educational and entertainment purposes, and is based on an astrology chart created while thinking about this situation, seeing a news article about his escape. Chapter 1. We discuss Danelo's energy as a person. The first house, aka the ascendant, will describe him. Gemini is rising on the ascendant, a tricky and conniving sign when negative, appropriate for a criminal on the run who outsmarted his confinements. A Greek lot which will describe a theme at play, peril, lies on the ascendant, too. Indeed, he is currently in rightly deserved peril. Gemini rising makes Danelo shown as Mercury in this chart. Mercury has some strength here, in the 4th house, and in Virgo. This is power to get what he wanted, and he appears to be very intelligent in some aspects. Not wise enough to not be in the predicament he got himself into the first place, but smart enough to get himself temporarily out of it. Importantly, Mercury is retrograde though, a troubling indication. Likely, Mercury retrograde in Virgo speaks of insane, loveless behavior we'll talk about more. This retrogradation, though, shows his physical body in a bad place, especially as Mercury is too close to the Sun here. This shows him very stressed. The daily local reports, speaking to Cavalcante's physical condition after having been at large for the past 4 days, Lieutenant Colonel Bivens said the escape he was facing real difficulties that would make him, ultimately, easier to track down and capture. He is stressed right now, the veteran trooper told the reporters who had gathered for the conference. He's going to need clothes, and he's going to need food. I intend to stress him, so he will begin making mistakes. He will show himself, and we will contain him and we will capture him, end quote. The sign Virgo that Mercury is in shows him expectedly hateful towards prison, as Venus represents prison in this chart, and planets in Virgo have a negative relationship with whatever Venus represents. Mercury's shadow placement at 14 degrees Aries speaks more of his violent, criminal nature. That's it for part 1. In part 2, we look at his crime, and later, his whereabouts. Subscribe for later parts.